All right. So, let us begin. Last time we left our heroes, the valiant members of the Night Watch. You have just returned from the expedition beyond the city walls in search of one of the advanced scouting groups that didn't report back, and your findings were mostly gruesome and slightly freaky in some cases.
Oh.
Uh, However, with knowledge and one unlikely ally, the werebear named Dugan, you have returned back to the city, victorious, with plenty of fresh experiences in your mind, such as those, basically those allowed you to reach level 4. And I know you have planned to do some things, at least some of you. But before we dive deep into stuff referred for today's session and your own ideas, are there any outstanding issues, technical stuff, or other bookkeeping that we need to deal with?
I need to be told how to do put my level at 4 again, because I forgot.
So in your features under class levels, there's a drop down.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. I kind of forgot that we leveled up, so I'm gonna do that real quick.
Yeah, I think I was probably gonna ask like if everyone did their level ups,
Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So among other things, I know that Vale, Vale will be bringing Dugan to Farenzia, perhaps in attempts to
Indeed.
help him
Yes.
maybe get through the stuff that he is in. I know through the private message what Pastor will be doing, and I have something prepared for Sasa and Silas. Although, absolutely feel free if you have any ideas you want to do in the city. Feel free to interject. I may not be prepared for everything, but I will try to wing it in the worst case scenario.
I don't think I had anything specifically planned for Sasa besides just being like, we survived.
Don't
And
worry,
that's
I have an idea.
yeah.
Just remind
I'm
me.
just imagining Sasa, a tiny fairy sitting at a bar with a giant mug of alcohol in front of him.
Just fucking resting.
Mug the size of his size of her freaking torso. Just
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure, we didn't. Sorry if you heard that. There's an idiot launching fireworks somewhere in my area. And I'm saying idiot because I have a dog that's very scared of fireworks. So,
oh,
anyways, sorry for that. Remind me, JP. I don't believe we ever went with the details about your sister. I think you might have been like, "Yeah, you leave it in my hands," or am I misremembering? I just want to make
No,
double.
I did leave it in your hands, yeah.
All right. Well,
'Cause that's
have something prepared. All right. But as you have returned, you went to rest, and sleep or meditation takes you. And before we delve back into the physical matters, Pastor, you find yourself in a new place, in an unknown
Boy.
place.
Oh.
As you
oh,
not necessarily wake, but you find yourself in this celestial ethereal realm full of light. That's not, it's also warm, but not in like a heartwarming sense, but it fills you with power. At the very least, that's how it feels at start. The two fiery figures, angels, that are on the opposite sides of the staircase, leading
Aster
upwards.
immediately kneels before them.
And that's the funny thing, they are already kneeling. Seemingly as if welcoming you. They are not first.
Aster,
Okay, go ahead.
Aster will then stand up from his kneel, approach the stairs, I guess.
Very well. As you begin approaching, please give me wisdom. No, wait. Either wisdom or intelligence saving throw. And before you roll, the DC for that will be will be 15.
Understood. Saving throw?
Yes. Either. No, I think I did say wisdom.
No, so close.
Unfortunate.
Oh.
I am fine with this.
As you take your steps towards the staircase, an unfamiliar alien feeling falls over you. And despite your seemingly conscious attempt to take a next step forwards, you find yourselves being unable to do so. As perhaps it's hard to describe, because you are not even yourself sure if it's fear or trepidation of what you might be able to not really find, but see. After all, it's been taught and it's been common knowledge that the gods have abandoned this place. People serve the light, or they believe in light, but its worship is not what you would consider like regular, like expect. And there's this worry that what if the origin of this power, the origin of light, will be disappointing, or worse, what if what you will see will cause you to falter, to lose your own faith? Or if the thing that will stare at you from the light itself will not watch you with care, with warmth, with as something that sees value in you, but instead an uncaring being that it just is. You do not know from where these thoughts are coming through, but they are swirling through your mind, and despite your best wishes, proceed onwards. Seeming against yourself, find yourself taking a step backwards. And throughout the area, the light gains an oppressive feeling. Almost like if your metallic body was put at the bottom of the ocean and the pressure of the sea, of the ocean, was trying to crush you from all sides. And a bellowing, echoey voice, speaking in celestial, speaking in thousands, hundreds of thousands of voices as one in a voice of a legion. The servant of the light has been vanquished, and you have allowed it. You are not worthy to gaze upon our form. And before you are able to react, two things happen at once. One, in one swift motion, both of these angelic figures, their expression unchanging, they rise up, and as they are rising up, they lift their flaming swords up, in a preparing clearly to make a swinging motion. But before they manage to complete that movement, and before this vision ends, you see one last thing. An abomination. That's the first thought that comes to your mind. As you see a pillar, but when you peer closer or your mind is able to process what you are seeing, it's a pillar, a tower, without beginning, without end, reaching upwards and upwards, you don't know to where. But you see from what it's made of. It's made of flesh. Gilded.
Yes!
Almost like everything what is made of was almost like a gold was poured over this entire structure. And you see faces and hands slowly peeking out from this general form, making small movements. And their expressions, they vary from disappointment, anger, to holy rage. But some of them are just open in mute, screaming expression. There's a flash of light, and the vision ends, and you find yourself startling, waking up. Where exactly do we find Pastor, and how does he react upon where? Waking up from slumber? I imagine Warforged, they have mostly like a meditation thing going on.
Yeah, it's similar to elves. I'd say he's still in the church. Sorry about that. He is still in the church. His eyes slowly brighten as he comes. Sort of just looks around. He doesn't know what to do with himself because he thinks he has just gazed upon the true light and found himself unworthy. He just sits there on one of the pews, waiting.
Just in case, the headless body of Iria is still where you left her.
It is laying out on the altar where he cast a sacred flame on her.
Yeah, right. In that regard. Yeah. So regarding the one last thing. So regarding the thing that you mentioned, in terms of her equipment, she did have greatsword, longsword, shield, and scale mail. None of the items were inherently magical in nature. As she was a part of the scouting group, so she was at the time more experienced than you, but even then, as I mentioned, the city's magical supplies in terms of magical items and artifacts, they are extremely limited, and they are only giving them out in specific rare circumstances.
Right. I think what Pastor is gonna do as he sits on shoes is he's gonna take the equipment and start polishing it. Gonna continue that for a while. So it is shining as if the day it was.
All right. So, in general, I forgot to do this last time, but I believe with you taking care of the equipment, you taking care of the body, giving like a proper funeral rites, I'm gonna say, despite the vision that you have gotten, you can make me a religion check. And actually, you can make it with advantage.
Oh.
Okay, we have 13. I'm gonna say you don't exactly get the thing, but you gain an insight, a feeling that probably will able to help you achieve it next time. And I'm gonna start describing this to a player, not a character, because I'm struggling with like a fluff aspect of things. Essentially, if the roll was slightly higher, all the things that you have done for area would have cost essentially like in a kind of like a souls like aspect of things. Basically, an essence of light from a fallen warrior of light, which then would have been able to use sorry, head. Which then that essence would have been able you would have been able to use it as a resource to improve either your armor or your weapon. Give it like +1.
Right. Okay.
So obviously, like in character, Pastor doesn't get like the mechanical aspect of things, but
Right.
perhaps he has like a sense, like an intuition feeling that that even after death, if proper care, proper rituals, proper rites are given, it is possible to harvest is such a bad word, but acquire an essence like this so that it can be used so that even a fallen warrior of light can still assist and help those still living.
Okay.
It's like getting guidance from your predecessors.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about that. But yeah, that Pilar scene, there are like I have like 2 anime inspirations for that, but one of them is pretty big spoiler.
As soon as you said it's a giant pillar with seemingly no end or beginning, I was like, flesh pillar, flesh pillar, flesh.
Actually, the visuals, I'm mostly like that Code Geass scene in season 2.
Yeah.
Or of flesh mold.
All right.
Oh boy.
All right. Okay. So after all of that, does Pastor has any plans for the rest of the day as it currently stands?
Not anymore. He was gonna try bringing this armor to the blacksmith to get it fitted, but now he's just gonna sit there and thought.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of glad that you failed that wisdom saving throw, because I feel like if you had actually talked to that person, they would have been like, kill Vale. Kill him. Kill him. Destroy him.
Success would have actually given you a different information.
Oh.
Yeah, the failure was very much of a thing that... Do you really want to see the face of a thing that... of this light, if it has a face? And what if you won't like what stares back at you?
Right.
It's like you stare at the void and the void stares back, but it's the opposite.
Yeah.
A warlock meeting their patron for the first time.
Yeah, there's a certain trope that light is not good. And blue
Reminds me of
blue and orange morality, but yeah, that's a different thing.
Colors of
Speaking of-
Madness. Colors into Madness.
I don't think I've seen.
It's just about like a sickening light radiance that corrupts everything that looks upon it.
Oh. Neat.
Yay.
Okay.
Also, about the
Yeah.
blue and orange thing, Pastor literally has orange eyes and then blue panels on his body.
Alright. And... Okay. Yeah, before we switch to fail, just wanted to make sure, like, after rest and recuperation, are there any specific activities or plans that Silas has in the city?
No, not really. He's just waiting.
Okay.
Ember.
Can I assume that, as per, maybe not usual, but you keep the tradition of visiting your usual bakery and getting the same thing?
Sure, yeah.
Alright. I'm not gonna lie, I just found the picture and I thought it very appropriate. But
Yeah, I love him.
I would have absolutely no fucking clue what the actual race of that creature would be. So I'm just... If I had to like appoint one, I would say it would be like a very specific weird subclass, not subclass, but subrace of Owlin. That was, I believe, introduced in the Strixhaven book.
I'd say Shifter.
Shifter?
Yes, because that's a nose, not a beak. I think it's a shifter.
You could just go with Brett's whole, raccoon race.
Rackling?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
kind of built like one.
Yeah, I mean, I also thought about that, but I don't. I mean, yeah, sure, but especially
Yeah,
like the expression of this, like, I'm really tired of you buying the same thing, dude.
Tiny bugbear. Midget bugbear.
Tiny bugbear.
Like a runt.
One there.
Hi, Baker. Just opens door. Bell rings. I don't know.
Mm.
Oh,
There is not
sorry.
much movement at this time of. I wanted to say at this time of day, but well, day as the time of day has a different meaning, understanding in
Time of dark.
context in this world.
So, got my pie.
You know,
Don't give me that.
it only works because pretty much you are the only one that's buying it.
Yeah, that's perfect customer.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep this up, I would love to be able to order you, or rather, ask you, and you would accept to like be an advertiser outside my shop. You know, something like, "Hello, my name is." He scratches his head. Sorry, have you ever introduced myself to me?
Oh no! Wait, I
So,
think that's been a necessary requirement for our transactions.
and he waves his hand. Whatever. So, hello, my name is, and your name, whatever your face is, and this is my favorite bakery in the City of Hope. Maybe that would get me some clientele that likes more variety in my cooking.
Hey. Relax, friend. Cast command on him to relax.
Okay.
It's like my wizard casting calm emotion on angry party member.
Okay. Fuck it, just flat D20.
Wait, damn it, I can't do it. Wait, as a reaction. Okay, I'm going this far. I'm gonna, what is it?
Sure, go for it.
Silver barbs.
This is
Yeah!
this is not an NPC build for anything. I did not give him stats,
I know, but
so I'm just rolling flat D20. He probably would have some sort of bonus, but with that roll, I'm gonna say in this case it's not enough.
give myself the advantage, just to be clear.
Okay. So, actually, component verbal. So, okay, he doesn't. I mean, you still say something that's unusual, and when you cast the spell, so.
Hey, just relax, friend. How do you speak in tongues for a second?
Oh god, I think I bust a lung. Give me a second. Oh boy. Okay, that got me good.
We're gonna fucking cast kill DM. Fucking.
Okay, so you see that he starts ranting, and then you cast command, and he like almost like he deflates. The air goes out of him, and he had his like not raised finger, but his cooking utensil. What's the fucking word?
Spatula?
Yeah, spatula, and his shoulders sag, and all right. I guess you are right. You're definitely right. Stretched cook doesn't do. His cooking is not as good. I guess. Besides, hey, haven't seen you in a while. Went somewhere interestingly? No, went somewhere interesting?
Oh, just some old guard duties that resulted with a near-death experience and an existential crisis that kind of put me into a whole minor moment of despair, which caused me to quit my job. But now I'm here, so let's just push that aside. How are you, friend?
You know what? I am feeling better. But well, kinda sounds like usual. Well, not maybe usual, but kinda day you can expect from the City of Hope. Because hey, bad stuff happens, but and he gives like his favorite thumbs up, like, but we keep on going. We freaking survived this entire war, so we might as well, keep on going. If we didn't want to leave, we could have just, all kill over collectively and just allow the dark creatures to like swallow us whole, but
Sorry with your ordeal with these dark, gloomy vibes, friend. It's just, common course as you just said. But so we can just relax one time, just have a brief moment of air. Some pie as he just like slams his hands on the top of the counter, like, give me my pie.
I'm gonna say like he was pausing from time to time, but generally through the entire like discussion, he is like in the process of cooking.
Mm.
Actually, I'm just like out of curiosity. You know what? I'm not using this that often, but and then he basically does that gif of Salt Guy or Salt Bear and like starts like sprinkling like not glitter but like some very specific sugary powder or whatever he would know Silas would probably prefer. Like he would guess from what Silas is buying, so he would guess like what he might like what his taste buds might like.
Let's say okay, no. I was gonna say consider like a butter sugary cinnamon kind of crumble that you'd have on like a coffee cake or something like that.
All right, yeah. So he does that like that. Very rare stuff, but for whatever reason, it feels like you helped. So as a repayment, like enjoy. Should give like an extra oomph for taste.
Above board, did he make any extra pie just in case?
Sure, he might have. Yeah.
Hey, how about you? Okay, then he'll look over at the baker. He'll be like, "How about because I'm such a helpful friend?" He just kind of wiggles his eyebrows. How about you give me that other pie there? And then can I do a persuasion check?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay,
I'm gonna even give you advantage.
Barbs.
Yeah.
Oh well, it doesn't matter.
You know what? Yeah, I'm feeling nice and dandy. So yeah, have at it and enjoy let your stomach and taste buds and tongue and mouth enjoy my delicious creations. And yeah, you get a second pie.
Thanks, friend. And he hands him over a silver coin because of the brief amount of money he's made outside of the city in his prior life.
Mm-hmm.
In English.
Yeah, there is some coin usage, but yeah, the economy is like kind of weird. But yeah, coin is also accepted, but in like limited amounts. There's also like barter and yeah, because of the entire closed circuit stuff. All right. So there will be stuff happening, but for now, let us jump to yeah, because I have like a specific idea what's going on with Vale, we know, so I want to leave Vale for last. Sasa, in terms of your day, do you have like any specific plans at all? Or rather, even if you do not have plans, like how Sasa feels. Does she do anything? Like how does she process the entire expedition upon waking up and like resting?
Okay, so All right, so she has almost zero idea of what just happened. So she just like gets up, goes like normal about her like just waking up routine, like cleaning, getting the hair, like brushing her hair, just everything ready. Just normal as she will every day, and then she kind of just like sits in like a chair or something, and then just like immediately starts having an existential crisis. It's just like the imagine she just like sits down, puts little like arm like elbows on the knees, and just like hands on the like face on hands, and he just be like, "What did we just do?" And she will spend like probably like 5 minutes just trying to process what they went through on the expedition, from seeing a vampire lord to seeing a light nuke. Uh, Obviously she didn't have any visions or anything from anything, so she just doesn't know what's going on. She just lost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and after that,
Yeah, go ahead.
mhm. No, you go ahead. I was gonna say
Speaking
something.
of nuke, because I don't want to forget, just in case any of your characters go to the walls and like observe the area, if you look in the general direction where you think this explosion of light might have originated, you don't need to make a roll. I'm gonna just say you can swear you would be able to see some very faint but still glow in that direction.
Okay.
But that's
Then
just
she's
just
just
in
gonna think.
case, like if you think that your characters would be on battlements and just do your like regular guard rounds during this day and like any upcoming days.
Alright. And then she will probably, if she ever saw this at this point, she will think that maybe they need to go eventually. But yeah, she will get up after the existential crisis. Um, and she will probably go and try to find something like to eat. I assume she has like a tiny kitchen, tiny fairy-sized kitchen.
Yeah,
So she
yep.
just like goes around, flying
I'm
around,
I'm
tries to make breakfast.
I'm fine with that. And sorry, I think we might have talked about this, but I'm not sure. I might have forgotten. I apologize. But I imagine you are like where you live. You like live like at the workshop or like near the
Yeah,
workshop where you have like
I will
your.
have like imagine like a little studio room, like right next to the workshop. That's
Okay.
what we were talking about. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. And if you have a different idea, correct me. But I'm gonna take a guess from how your character behaves and how you describe that Sasa was a builder before she decided to go for Slayer. That she might have like really focused on that. So it might have been a hot minute since you have seen your sister.
Yes.
Okay. So one question. Do you think she would have been able to find you easily, or she would have hard time like learning where you are?
No. If anything, I think Sasa just like what's the word, when she's very like flashy. She can talk very loudly. She's just a shiny flying fairy that uses cannons. So I think it wouldn't be really hard at all for her sister to find her.
Mm-hmm. Right, so let's go for it. As you will hear. Actually, I'm fine with if you like, because I imagine like either you will hear like knocking on the
Mhm.
like well, the entire like structure, not your living space, but like coming from the outside, or perhaps you have heard a voice like someone calling you when if you like finally went out. So I'm not like where the meeting happens. I'm fine with what you'll prefer. But yeah, your sister will find you, and it's been some issue finding an art that was relatively safe for work and still like worked as a fairy.
I feel that.
But I believe
Finding good art is hard.
this works due to, well, the expression. As considering how Sasa is, I have got an idea that. Actually, sorry, one last question. Because we did describe that your parents are missing, I believe that was the exact wording. Does Sasa believe they are still alive, or
Sasa will hope that they're alive, or she wants to hope that they are, but she doesn't want to just like push herself to think really hard that they are, so she doesn't disappoint herself. You know, like when you know, like, oh, they're very probably not here anymore, but she has like this internal small hope that they are.
Cute art.
all right?
I love how the title is The Sister.
Yeah, I do not have a good idea of a name. Obviously she's also Maple because that's a family name, but
Mhm.
so yeah, essentially, as you have basically delved into making things for destroying the enemies, destroying the dark, keeping it at bay, so pouring yourself into work, your sister processed your parents disappearing in a different way, you assume. Because she is a more shy, reserved personality. She's like this tiny mouse that, pretend I'm not here, pretend I'm not doing anything. Not a scaredy cat, but definitely someone that doesn't attract attention. And from a couple of interactions you had, because obviously before you probably met a few times, even as your like work-related things caused you not to spend so much time with each other, that she was going into more like a scientist bookkeeping, like nerdy stuff, like a librarian, so like books, scrolls, basically theoretical knowledge, while you are more of a like practical application.
Mhm.
That's the like distinction I'm thinking of. Yeah, in general, would you be fine with that? And also, that's like the information that Sasa would know, because after all, this is your family.
Yeah. No, yeah, she will. It's okay.
Okay. So, yeah, you'll hear a voice or knocking if the scene is happening at your living place, and you would recognize the voice of your sister. Knock, knock. Sasa, are you in there?
All right, one sec. I'm sending you her name. This is how you spell it. I just made it up. I'm gonna be honest. So there you go. That's how you spell it.
I mean, that's fine.
And so she's just gonna be like, Hiro, is that you?
Yeah. Can I come in?
She would just like fly straight for the door and just like open. And she'd be like, what are you doing here?
And hello to you too, sis. I mean, it's been a while since we saw each other. And now that she mentions it, it's been a while.
Sasa will like look at her for a second and just like think how long it's been, and she's been like, It's been a while, yes. Here, and she just like pulls here, just like pulls her inside and closes the door.
Oh,
Uh,
are you alright? I mean, I came by to check on you to see if you are still alive.
I am. I just. Well, I don't know if you heard that I recently came back from an expedition, and this entire time she's just like pushing her sister just like gently to into there on the chair and just like sits her down,
Uh,
and
wait,
Sasa will sit
what?
down too.
I heard that some volunteers left to find someone that was missing. You were one of them?
Yeah, it was me and Belle. I also Kira knows Belle, so
Uh,
it's me and Belle and two more
uh,
people. Um,
why? Why did you risk it so?
yeah, no, it wasn't risky. We just we can do stuff to defend ourselves, you know. And she would just like open like one arm and just like summon the cannon on the table, and she would just like lean down with just like like the elbow sideways on the cannon and just like rest like I did this. And she will say, "We can I can defend myself," and she just has like this expression of like not believing herself.
Sis, you really need to. And she looks very like, you know, a mixture of complicated emotion flashes through her face and mostly her eyes. Are you pretty alright? Nothing permanent happened to you? Really? And he looks you like straight in the eyes. Are you healthy? Are you like alright? Really alright?
Mm, how will she answer to this? She would just like stay on there, almost in a cartoonish kind of way. She would like start to sweat slightly and just be like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Nothing happened. I'm okay." Just like smile, just like weak smile.
I'm gonna ask you, JP, as a player, to confirm:
Mhm.
is Sasa really believing herself at this point in time?
No, she just very. You know when you're trying to cope with something by saying that
Mm-hmm.
it's okay, I'll be okay, and then you're like, I'm not okay. That's like Sasa right
So
now. She's just
for
like, I'll be
Kiro,
okay.
I'm gonna ask you to make me a deception check. Deception or deceive.
A sec.
DC of 10.
Ah,
Because she's family, so she has a slight blind spot when it comes to you.
deception. Ah, on fucking brand.
Yeah.
However, even though she has a blind spot to you, you see that her expression minusculely but still hardens, and her eyes slightly narrow as she looks at you, and you can see easily that it's slight anger born of worry. And she comes closer to you, and she pauses for a moment, and then reaches forward to give you a hug and like not pat you, but what's the freaking word I'm looking for?
Like soothe.
Uh, Actually, pet or caress your hair. That was the word I'm looking for.
Oh, okay. Sasa would just like lean onto her and just like rest for a second and saying, "Yeah, I'm not okay." She will say, "I just a lot of things happen, things I cannot talk about, but I'll probably need a bit to process it."
Well, sis, you can always count on me, so I guess it's a good thing I came by. Have you been actually, no, sorry, should say something different. I came by our house recently. And by the house, she means that your parents had a manor.
Mhm.
And
Sasa will kind of just like pull from the hug, just like slightly, just so she had like like her hands on Kira's shoulders and just be like, "Why did you pass there?"
I know it's and she's also struggling to like talk about this, but just sorry. So it's also the same kind of like coping and like in case our not in case, but when our parents return, like I wanted to make sure that the house is in working order, and I know you might not want to live there and be reminded that they are missing, but it's our home, also your home. It's, and I got curious. I thought that maybe whatever they were doing is the reason they are missing. So I'm looking for whatever I can find, and their diaries, notes. I mean, they are also your parents, so I thought that I would come by and say that if you wanted to help, not right now, but when you will have time, you can go through their notes, diaries, assuming they left anything together. Maybe they left something for us. Just
Right.
a clue waiting to be found.
She will kind of just like lower her head to like think for a second. And as a player, what kind of people were my friends that I remember? Were they like wizards? Were they I don't know, hunters?
Give me, and this also will be a DC 10 intelligence check, because I believe that's for like recalling knowledge, recalling your memories.
I mean, there's
History?
history.
Yeah, history also works. Because I also don't. Yeah, okay, that's equal, but I don't remember if we ever specified like how young Sasa was when they disappeared.
Yeah, she doesn't know why. Like,
No, not why, but was Sasarek really young when they disappeared? Because I'm trying to like figure out how much child memory would retain.
okay, so Sasa right now is like 20 something, right?
Yep.
And her sister is younger than her,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they will probably have been, yeah, like relatively very young. I feel like maybe like 10 for Sasa.
Okay.
Very, very young.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, because I did say that DC was 10, that you recall they were not wizards, but they were more closely aligned with your branch of work. But also not strictly artificers. You would say, I'm not sure if that word would exist in the world, but for player they would be alongside the lines of scientists.
Okay.
researchers. Oh, I think researchers would be like a good solid work.
Yeah, that's a good word. Okay. Then Sasa would think and say, "Well, it clearly has been a long time since I've been there," and she's just gonna think to herself that maybe neither of them are coping very well with this right now. So she's gonna say, "Why don't we pass by, maybe tomorrow or as soon as we can, and I'll help you check. Maybe we can find something."
She gives you a small but very warm smile, and yeah, that will be great. Thank you, sis. And she hugs you again.
Yeah.
And I think we can move to the next scene. Again, apologies if you have to like wait a while. It's always like an issue for me doing the spotlight thingy, especially in my current
That's fine.
state.
Okay.
I don't mind it.
But yeah. Vale, as you lead Dugan. Although, yeah, quick question. Would you like do this immediately after returning, or would you actually give yourself like a moment to, rest?
He would probably do it immediately just so Dugan has a place to stay. Because Dugan doesn't have any place to stay, so he would probably introduce him at the very least to be like, you can rest here. You know?
That's a fair point. So as you bring Dugan to manor owned by Varenzia. Of course, I forgot to set any ambience for this. Fuck. You will find the veteran hunter going through basic motions / meditating in the courtyard. She would slightly turn her head as you approach, with an eyebrow raised at the sight of Dugan. But yeah, she will raise an eyebrow and do not say anything, letting you take the initiative in speaking.
He'd say, how would he like what would be like a title for her? Like would it be like elder hunter? Like how would he address her as like a mentor? Would he just say mentor?
Could be mentor, could be elder hunter. I am entirely fine with whatever idea you come up with.
I think he's just gonna go with a mentor. He would sort of walk up and just do like a slight bow with his head and say, mentor, I have someone here that needs to talk with you. We found them on our most recent expedition. They were in a sort of suspended stasis, some sort of like magical field that kept them from aging or needing to eat. And it's been some time since they've seen other people, and they need a place to stay. And since they're similar to us, I thought I would introduce you at the very least. And then he would put like a hand over and gesture to Dugan, and he would say, "This is Dugan. Dugan, this is my mentor, Hunter Forenzia."
Hello there. Varenzia will take in what you are saying, still with an raised eyebrow, looking at you and Dugan. And finally, she will say, "Well, my boy, I didn't expect you to return with a +1, but bringing him here has been very thoughtful of you. I'm glad to see that our training is paying off and we are growing well."
You'd see a small smile and he would do another bow. "Thank you."
But of course, do not think that this will mean that I will be going easy on you during training.
I would never expect such a thing.
Good. Very good, my boy. Then she will take a step closer and silently, with squinted eyes, peer very closely at Dugan for a long while in silence. Enough that, despite the fact that Dugan is a freaking werebear capable of ripping his enemies to shreds, he's actually at some point fidgeting and giving Vale slightly, maybe not nervous, but unsure glances.
Vale will just like, as Ferencia is like looking at Dugan, Vale like behind her, sort of to the side, like out of her vision, is just gonna sort of like shrug a little bit and just give like a tiny thumbs up.
Okay. Hmm. Why, I am perfectly willing to offer a place to you, Dugan, to stay at the house of our order. I'm afraid I am unable to help you with your condition. I? Allow my student to help me to elaborate. Vale, my boy, how would you describe your inner beast, so to speak, when you tap into your other form? How does it feel like to you? What is the path that we are walking?
Damn, what would it feel like? Okay, wait.
Sorry for that curveball.
Oh, you're good. He'd say, it feels like something I have to use in an emergency, like a strength to draw upon when it is necessary to be used. Similar to like raising a shield at seeing an attack.
Yes. But do you hear your beast, your inner wolf, sometimes howling inside of you? Or is it quiet?
He'd nod. At times I do. But it is not often, thankfully.
Good. Good, Vale, my boy. Because if it was quiet, then, well, I would have hoped otherwise. I don't believe you are just yet fully synchronized with yourself. In fact, not even the oldest and most experienced of our order can claim such a feat. To walk our path is to constantly dance between life and death on the knife's edge. And we are to make sure that we never take one step too much. However, Mr. Dugan, what I and Vale have is a curse. A curse we train to control and master, so that, as the very old saying goes, that we are the king and the other form is the horse. In your case, you are not cursed.
His doesn't stem from a curse? They would like not have experienced this ever, so he would be like, what?
Yes, Vale, my boy, while in your training and experience, lycanthropy and other forms of such, of spreading this curse, of infecting people with the beast that we cage inside our souls is often